isn't she?
Yes. Yes, fantastically natural and fantastically easygoing. And that kind of easygoingness and that charisma seems to shine out of her. I think we all feel like we know her really well already, and of course we don't, but there's something very, very kind of open about her, very easy to empathise with her.
And obviously the dress, I mean, do you think she'll stay safe, or do you think she'll really push the boat out and take a risk, go for it?
Sophie, minute by minute, I'm getting more and more nervous to see this dress. I'm desperate to see it. My hope is that in that amazing setting, as we look at the architecture of the Abbey and how regal those trees look, and even actually the very wild quality of the flowers, it looks very kind of pastoral and very British, and I hope she'll go for a really grand British statement. I really do.
Paula, thank you very much.
Sir John Major arriving, the former Prime Minister, of course. And this not without its controversy. I'm going to bring Simon Sharma in again because Tony Blair and Gordon Brown not been invited, ostensibly because they're not Knights of the Garter. John Major here because, of course, he was also appointed legal guardian to William and Harry back in the late 90s after their mother's death. Do you think that controversy is one that is a valid one?
It won't break up the joy of the day, but was it a mistake? Absolutely, in my view. I think actually Prime Ministers, when they've left office, they actually become part of the historical pantheon. Not saying they're dead, but they enter Madame Tussauds. Now it's worse, now I'm saying they're waxwork dummies. But they do become part of the nation's history. And on many of the great occasions, one likes to kind of gather faces. However we feel about them politically, it is really part of our shared memory of what Britain has been. And the special genius of such moments is a kind of three marriages really. Kate and William, the marriage between past and future, and the marriage between the royal family and the nation. And they've missed an opportunity there, I think, in my view. So there goes my knighthood, I guess.
You've blown it.
I have, I don't care.
Well, there's someone who has got a knighthood, and that's Sir John Major, who is a Knight of the Garter, and he'll be sitting among other Knights of the Garter. I should say Baroness Thatcher, who's also been honoured with the Garter, of course was invited, but she's too unwell to attend. Sir Stephen Dalton, who's head of the Royal Air Force there, and flanked by other senior military figures. Sir Trevor Brooking, Director of Development at the Football Association, worked very closely with Prince William on that bid for the 2018 World Cup. And another big good morning to everyone who's watching us in Hyde Park, because we've got some very big screens there, and we're hoping that people there are enjoying the coverage. Sounds as if they are. So to all of you in Hyde Park, we warmly welcome you and hope you're having a good time. Not long to go before we see William and Harry leaving Clarence House and the procession starting. There are screens in towns and cities all over Britain, so there'll be lots of enjoyment going on in parks like this. Just fingers crossed for some dry weather. Another one of the military bands making their way. We have the Grenadier Guards today, the Coldstream Guards, the Scots Guards, the Band of the Welsh Guards, the Royal Marines and the Central Band of the RAF. They are all performing at various points on the route, and they will be entertaining the crowds with some military music, as you'd expect, but also, if I know the bands well, with some pretty popular music too. These are the Welsh Guards making their way up to Buckingham Palace. So we'll be looking forward to them. Formed in 1915 and very well known for their high standards. This is a royal wedding with a difference. Lots of coaches, as I was explaining. There will be formal processions later, but lots of practical minibuses and coaches to get people up to Westminster Abbey for this initial phase. And if we have a look inside the Abbey once again to see who's just arriving, we'll spot some other well-known faces, because the guests are all now being made towards their seats, and that is the Home Secretary Theresa May with her husband, and one of the Abbey ushers showing Mrs May to her place. And let's think about her duties today, because she is responsible for all the security and policing around this very big event, so it's a very responsible time for her. So the Abbey filling up rather nicely, and this is where we have a good view of the choir. This is the area where the monks in ancient days, when this was a proper functioning abbey, this is where they would be worshipping. This is the choir now where we'll see today some friends of the family, religious leaders, and crucially, in Mrs. May's case, political leaders seated on the south side of the choir. And there, some of the religious leaders. The Chief Rabbi, Lord Sachs, is there. And there we have our Archbishop Vincent Nichols of Westminster, representing Catholics in England and Wales, who became a very familiar figure last year when he was managing so much of the Pope's visit in September. One of the real highlights of today will be the full force and majesty of the household cavalry, because these days are never quite the same without this impressive sight. There'll be a captain's escort to bring the bride and groom back to Buckingham Palace, and there'll be a sovereign's escort to bring the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh back to the palace. So we're going to see hundreds of horses on parade, and we're going to see the lifeguards. There they are in their red tunics, and the blues and royals in their dark tunics and their red plumes. They'll be forming those two escorts a little later on. Final preparations there. Their work this morning, by the way, started at 4 o'clock, a very early start. So what do they make of the bands and what's going on in the Mall so far? Let's join Chris.
Yes, thank you very much, Hugh. You probably remember I was on the other side of the Mall. Now, this is what it's like when you're away from the barriers. 10, 15 people deep, but they're all happy, aren't you? You're all happy, looking forward to it? Just can see people just clambering up on the gates there, just so they can actually get a sight, possible glimpse of William and Harry. And you wonder why people do it. Just have a look at these two little happy faces down here as well. Hello. But there are special stories absolutely everywhere. I just want to introduce you to this man. What is your name, sir?
Colin.
Colin, why are you back here in this particular spot?
I met my wife here in 1981 when Prince Charles got married to Diana.
So you've come back to the special spot with your daughters here. Hello, daughters. How are you? What's your name?
Hey, Alison.
Now, obviously, your daddy met your mummy here in 1981. Are you looking out for anyone particular? Have you met anybody?
I'm hoping Prince Harry.
Prince Harry, I'll put in a good word for you. Oh, there's Prince William behind. Where are you, sir? Where are you from?
I'm from France.
Ah, bonjour. Are you having a good day?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. As you can see, a real global feel about this. Everybody is just having and hoping to get a glimpse of absolutely anybody. Fantastic time down here. But for the time being, have you seen anybody yet? Just me. They've just seen me. They're very disappointed in that. But never mind, hopefully it'll improve.
Chris, thank you very much. Let's pop back inside Westminster Abbey, because we're having some more very important foreign guests arriving, including the Australian Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, who's just been greeted at the West Door. And there are representatives of at least 50 governments here, especially the Commonwealth ones, of course. The family of the Commonwealth, a very, very important feature, one that's treasured by the Queen. Let's join Sophie once again.
Well, the one thing that everyone wants to know is what will the bride be wearing and who has designed it? And it certainly does seem to be the best kept secret of the day. There has been so much speculation, so many names thrown about, including one hot favourite, the bridal couture designer Philippa Lepley, who was very much a front runner when the engagement was announced. But I think we can safely say it's not Philippa, because she's here with me in the studio right now.
Good morning, Sophie.
Who do you think she will go for then?
My money this morning actually is on Alice Templey. I don't know.
Alice
I think
Templey?
the trees have made it so ethereal. I'm just thinking very fluid, very flowing, very soft and very feminine.
Because, of course, Sarah Burton is the one that everyone has been talking about a lot. She is McQueen, very dramatic designs.
Sarah Burton is the big fashion story. I think she's the fashion editor's favourite, and if I was a betting lady, that's where my money would be.
Really? Not too dramatic for Kate, not too sort of out of her comfort zone?
I think she will probably stick in her comfort zone. I think she knows her style and she feels very confident, being quite fluid, and soft and gentle.
So these are McQueen dresses, and Alice Templey is the one you favour. She is very kind of romantic, isn't she? Very feminine, very flowing dresses.
With lots of embellishment, perhaps, which I think something for this occasion needs some decoration. Although Kate might go very, very clean and simple, like Sarah Armstrong-Jones did, you know, just really simple.
Issa is another designer that really has been talked about a lot.
Issa is another designer. Daniela Halal, who is the designer for Issa, has become a huge star literally since that engagement photograph. And that jersey, kind of almost goddess silhouette, really suits Kate fantastically well because she's got the body to carry it. I mean, it's fabulous. But the thing is, Daniela's dresses are kind of, they're very, she's Brazilian. It's got a very kind of easy, almost kind of lounge atmosphere or image about them. And I'm not sure that they would hold a cathedral.
They might be too slinky. You can't put a massive train on a really small, fluid dress. It doesn't,
exactly.
The proportion isn't right. You need a bit of size here to get a big train. And let's hope she's going to have a big train and a big veil to get the drama.
And Sophie Cranston and Jasper Connor and other names that have been mentioned as well. But what, Philippa, must that designer, whoever he or she may be, what must they be going for?
They'll have the biggest butterflies in the tummy, I'm sure, and just absolutely petrified this morning. But so excited to see their look in the Abbey and just get the whole feeling and hope that they've done it absolutely right and ticked every box.
Would you have wanted to do it, though? Because it is such a huge ask, isn't it?
I think it's obviously every dress designer's dream to make a royal wedding dress, but a huge, huge pressure. And just the world's media on your doorstep the whole time while you're making it afterwards and whatever. It's a huge, huge thing, but a great opportunity to do something really, really special. And that's a nice thing that appeals to me.
This has also got to be it's got to be very cleverly done, though, hasn't it? Because it's got to be the dress that takes Kate Middleton, the commoner, to a princess, to the Duchess of Cambridge, as we now know that she will be called.
Yes, it couldn't be too grand, like the Queen's dress, for instance, was covered in embellishment. I think that would almost be too much. So it's she's just got to feel comfortable. She's got to feel right, and she'll get it right. I'm sure she will.
I'm sure she will.